build of these mounted riders for my Heroes of Hobbyton game. I actually got these off of Etsy. They're from a independent 3D printer slash vendor, and they're from the company Lost Kingdom Miniatures. They sold them the STL files. So I'm going to be finishing these 3 riders, and I've got a couple more of these bags to get through. So we're going to just build as much as we can, see how much we can get through, and then I'm going to also be building up some Age of Sigmar, Cities of Sigmar kits. I've got the box behind me with the instructions and everything, but we're going to finish off, see if we can get the other 2 riders up to here. So this is the standard, it's like a stag with griffin claws and wings. Beautiful model. And I'm going to be building them up. The other 2 hands, I think, have like really bent weapons. So I might be digging into this bag of extra weapons that I got so I can find some straight lances. But this is a great design for a model. Hey, Pix, how's it going? Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Yeah, so these are all resin, and I was lucky with this vendor because I also purchased these models from a different vendor that used these a different kind of resin. So this is what the bases are going to look like, and I think this resin is a little bit better. It's a little bit closer to the hard plastic that Games Workshop uses. So, taking a look, I'm glad you're here, Pix, because taking a look at our board, this is where everybody's standing at. Dicey Guy, Mr. Secondaries, Darth Torlin, and Play It Painted still haven't. Oh no, Mr. Secondaries did roll with you, right, for August and September's. And Mr. Sprinkle, I think I'm still waiting to see what they want to do with their 2 tokens of renown. We also have a new patron to Warboss Taste Studios, Land of Mert. And after some rolls, he's got 2 tokens, 3 City Guard, and a healer. So this is what the board looks like right now. Really cool. I've got another one of these big dry erase boards that I'm going to clean up and start writing out like an overview of the game, Heroes of Hobbiton, so everybody can see visually. I'm a visual learner, so I know sometimes I listen to my videos and I do talk very quickly, very fast, and it's hard to imagine what the game is supposed to look like. The order of the game, you know, you create your characters, you get your free advances every month, you do your Heroes Luck rolls if you choose, and hey, hello, Link's Lord 1991. And we're still getting ready for, I think I'm going to start launching the expeditions in January. And I think one of the hangups to the game was that I kept thinking, like, how can I make the game mechanics fun? When I realized the people who are watching my videos, my community, we're all trying to paint models and get better and get more painted models on the table. So I think a huge element of rules that I'm writing out from here on is going to be, how can I create challenges for my patrons to paint some models or get some models done and let that be an element to the gameplay. So if you want to get more tokens, say, you would commit to, just like the painting challenge, commit to painting something, and if you can get it done in the amount of time, then you'll get more tokens. All right, welcome, Pix and Links. We're hanging out. We're building up these resin models from Lost Kingdom Miniatures. When I glued together this guy, when I was so excited to get his wing glued in, I think I glued it a little too close to the body. So I'm having a hard time fitting the legs of this rider, and I'm pretty sure it's this rider. I might have gotten the wrong legs, because if you notice, all of these legs have cloth that's billowing up behind the rider as if the rider is in a dive. And this mount is actually standing still on some terrain. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to look like this. If I have to, I'm afraid of breaking it. I'm going to see how close I can get to putting the torso and the arm together. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just going to build out some of these models that I'm going to eventually be using for this Heroes of Hobbiton game. And I'm also going to be building up some Cities of Sigmar if we can get more people into the chat. and get a little bit more going here. But I'll start here with the legs and the torso. It's a decision of mine not to glue the legs to the mount just yet. When I took a look at the art for these models, this guy who's on this mount where the mount is just kind of standing still and not flying has this helmet with the horns and the little ball in the center. So that's what I'm going to build him up. Hope you all are doing well out there. I wanted to make it so that this stream would be filled with content as well as just video of me working on models. So I was thinking, what's a good thing I could talk about? What's an interesting topic that I could bring up to anybody who comes in to watch? And I think the most prevalent question is, how do you find the time to model, right? And how do you find time to sit down, get some work done? It's so easy to just say, oh, I'll do it later at the end of the night or whatever. But I've been listening to a bunch of different productivity podcasts and YouTube channels about setting goals and realistic goals, making things work for you. Everybody's different. Has a warning or post been made? If so, I didn't see one. I just noticed you were live. No, I didn't. I think I just went live on this one. This was a little spur of the moment. I had the models already here. I figured, I'm going to be working anyway, so I might as well turn on the camera. In the future, I'm going to be a little bit more aware of when I do want to go live, so I'll post the thing up on the Discord, because there's a channel where you can let everybody know if you're going to be going live on YouTube or Twitch. So yeah, definitely I will be doing that in the future. Sorry about that, Lynx. I'm glad you caught me. If there's one thing I want everybody to hear right at the top of the not podcast, this YouTube video, if you're watching it later, the thing that I want to impart to you all, that the most valuable thing that I learned, as I put some super glue and Bob Smith Industries super glue activator, I learned this technique for getting the most out of your day, and that is to have no 0 days. And basically what that boils down to is, say you've got a project that you just can't find the motivation to sit down and work on at your station, and you, like my Sentinel, my Astra Militarum Sentinel, for example, you've got a project and you just can't seem to find the initiative to check it out and to go through with it. Well, this no 0 days idea is that you do something, anything, even if it's just looking at some artwork or having your model in front of you and lining up some paints that you want to use to paint on it eventually. The no 0 days model is for anyone who is struggling with productivity, getting some work done. And I found that it's helped me because if you might have noticed that I've had my content slowing down a little bit recently, and there's just been a lot of real life stuff. Everybody's got real life stuff, right? We're all working through real life things. And when I learned about this no 0 days policy, what I started doing was getting these models that I purchased from Etsy in these little plastic baggies that they came in, just lining them up on my table, and getting the models that I still have to work through for the Artel W miniatures, Drukari or Voidborn faction, getting those on the table in front of me. I see. Well, I'm working on the Hand of the Archon. It just arrived today. Oh, nice. Can you save the knight with green stuff if the leg does not fit well? It really depends. Yeah, I could save it probably. I think the issue would be that I would break off one or two of these feathers. And even though I don't think that it would be too bad, I am going to try to finagle it to make it work as it is. So I have this really bent lance that I didn't get to dunk into hot water yet. I've got this really slightly bent lance that hasn't been fixed, but I also have this baggie of extra bits and arms that came with a bunch of these Etsy miniatures that I purchased. So the good thing for that is that I think there are some of these with, yep, here we go, a hand with a lance. And it's not a fancy lance like this one is, but it will do. And I think because this guy is just like resting, he's not in a attack pose, I just have it so that his lance is going to be something like this. We'll shave it down. Really depends. You can get what kind of person you are. Some people get over focused if they do it every day, so it works for you. Yep, that's exactly right. You have to do what's going to work for you and your schedule and your. If you've got too much on your plate, like there's no reason why you should force yourself to hobby, because it's not, it's not a job for many of us. I wish it would be. I would love it if this was what I did for a living. But since this is something I do for fun, I am very focused on balancing that hobby and real life. Okay, let's see how I can get this in. Hobby is supposed to be fun. Exactly. Yeah, once the hobby stops being fun, it's not a hobby anymore. It's a chore. And then you're not only investing your time and your money, but now you're investing, like you're sacrificing your good, mental health and your positive outlook on the things that you're supposed to be enjoying. So some people enjoy going to tournaments and working on the rules of games and figuring out like the best strategies and building army lists. I have the most fun in this hobby engaging with my community and painting and working and being creative. I mean, if you go back on my channel, it started with not only following some commission work that I was doing in Hawaii, but my channel started had a lot to do with the conversions I was doing for my orcs, my space orcs. I really should be just finding the right angle so I can get some Instacure on this thing. Yeah, I'm super excited. This is building these models has been something I've been looking forward to for a while. I want to eventually use these also for my patrons who play the Heroes of Hobbyton game and promote their. It would be like City Guard get promoted to Foot Soldiers get promoted to Knights, Knights get promoted to Mounted Knights, and then Mounted Knights get promoted to these Winged Beast Riders. And I'm just working through the different mechanics. Like once you get to Foot Soldiers or Archers, if you're taking the archery track in this game, you have to start finding specialists to train your retinue to advance further. So to be a knight, you have to contract the services of an armorer. And to go to be a mounted knight, you have to get the services of a stable master to find the horse and train the horse. And these are all just mechanics that I'm working through in my head now, and I'm writing out like what's the best way to do it that's not gonna drive anybody crazy or make people think, oh, this is too much effort. Like I want people to have fun playing the Heroes of Hobbyton game, and also to get some models painted. Okay. Every time I hold it in place just long enough. Hobby's supposed to be fun. I've been considering to make some content to showcase my minis too someday. Yeah, you should, Pix. You should. I mean, when I started, I had to invest in. I got like a Canon T2i, T3i. I had that flip camera. Now it's so easy. If I could have done it on the phone that I had back in the day, then yeah, it would have been a lot easier. Okay, you know what? I wish I had 3 hands because I'm just trying to hold this in place, but it's too hard to find the time and moment. I throw my stuff. Oh yeah, Instagram. I really should start an Instagram. Like, I think that's just one thing that's too It's just too much for me at this point. But yeah, I would love to start an Instagram. Instagram's great. Just throw pictures up. Most professional people and content creators and hobbyists have Instagrams. So Instagram is a great place. I think all social media is great to, like, I don't even use social media for social stuff anymore. I really use it just to see what other people are painting, how they're painting it. I do have an Instagram, but I haven't put stuff up on it. Yeah, like Instagram is great. Twitter is great. You could ask people questions. I actually asked on Twitter because so many people are getting advanced copies of stuff, or at least on my feed. You see everybody saying, "Oh, thanks Warhammer for sending me the Cities of Sigmar box set. I was only able to build up one guy, but here he is, all built up. Maybe one day I'll paint him." And I'm like, "Oh, come on." So I actually, getting back to the topic and not me being salty about that, I contacted all these people and I sent them all messages that I've seen, like, "Hey, how did you get Games Workshop to send you advanced copies of stuff? Because I've done things on YouTube. I consider myself an influencer. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hold it." And what they told me, well, most of them didn't even respond, but a couple of them, like two of them, did respond, and they said that Games Workshop contacts you, and then there's a whole process. And uh, once they explained to me about signing NDAs and how it's really not as glamorous and fun. Like sometimes it might just be better to cough up the dough and get these miniatures yourself. I was like, yeah, that's probably the way I'm gonna go. This way, I'm also a free agent, right? I'm not locked into doing anything for Games Workshop. I get to keep my anonymity and my uh, keep my criticism. There is a ton of rules. That's what I hear, Lynx Lord. And then, I see all the Cities of Sigmar stuff come out, and I'm like, I would love to not have to spend $200 on that. But then I think I started this hobby um, like everybody else, just paying for the minis, going through the process of waiting for release day. You guys remember? Oh, you guys probably do. The just anticipation of waiting. And sometimes the hobby stores get things in like a day or 2 days early, right? And I used to be very lucky. Sometimes I would be able to go to the hobby store on a Friday, and they would be breaking out the new models. And sometimes I would be able to convince the staff to let me have a sneak peek, or maybe even build something for the store. That's pretty cool. I don't know where there are these little cloth that looks like they're supposed to be flying behind them. Maybe like that. Because it's not the front tabard. This piece looks like it's barely connected. That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes the most fun I would have would be going to my game store the night before a launch and just talking to the staff about the product, because they've already got the product open and built, and they're trying to paint it in time for launch day on Saturday. Yeah, I don't know. That looks kind of weird, right? Because he's not moving. It's really like the wind is blowing behind him, but that's okay. We'll go with that. Why not? And I think he should have a hand holding the reins. So I've got two built here. Where's the... Here. So I'm thinking these are going to be... I'm going to eventually use them for Warhammer the Old World, and my reasoning for using these, I've got some 50mm square bases, is that they're bumping up the base sizes for the infantry from 20mm to 25. So I figure anything that's normally, or that has been on a 40mm base, will get bumped up to a 50mm base, and that's including like cavalry, or I mean monsters cavalry and stuff. So fingers crossed that that's what's going to happen, because I mean, who knows? Games Workshop also said that they were gonna feature Kislev in the old world, and that hasn't been true. The closest thing I got like that is the nearest big city hobby shop has paint days, and if you paint well, you can get in their glass closet on preview. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds interesting. That's a good way for a like a non-Games Workshop, like a small brick and mortar hobby store to drum up um, the hype and the business and get people excited. That's what everyone that's what all these like hobby stores are about. I think this is the worst part of this model. I love Lost Kingdom miniatures, but like they're the fact that these models they don't come with directions, right? Because they're 3D printed and sold on Etsy. So you have to figure out where these angles are. And look, I'm not going to be able to match the hand to the reins. I'm going to need to either green stuff or add some plastic putty to make up the difference. But that's okay because at least the rider is stable. I'm excited about the new stuff though. I haven't really been excited about any of the Cities of Sigmar stuff that I've seen on Warhammer community, but when you actually see it when you've got it in your hand, like that's always the difference, right? This is good. I'm really lucky that I have those extra lances because, geez, these are really bad. I mentioned this in my previous live stream, but the fact that like a vendor, if you sell stuff on Etsy and you're 3D printing these things and you're taking the time to wrap them up in bubble wrap and ship them out, if you let this get past you and you say, ah, that's fine, that's okay, like that's really not good. It's poor poor quality control. It's an easy way to get a 1-star rating. Because, like, imagine if you didn't have all these extra bits, or if you weren't an Empire collector and you were maybe missing a head or two, and you're out of luck. It's a good thing that we all collected Empire back in the day, and now we've got tons of bits boxes full of extra heads. Link's Lord, I'm waiting on the old world stuff. The new Unicorn Rider was beautiful. Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. And I think I mentioned this in some other area, but the fact that they're going old world like fantasy with the design, they're keeping Cities of Sigmar and Age of Sigmar stuff like high fantasy, weird and wonky, and they're not really doing. They haven't shown any Empire stuff, so like we don't know how advanced their technology is at the time of the setting, but the fact that they're showing so much Bretonian stuff and all the Bretonian stuff is really old fantasy. It's really cool. I really like that style and the design. No Empire here, but valuing more than 3,000 points. So you've got like extra dwarf arms from the Battle of Skull Pass, right? And extra. You must have a bunch of extra dwarf bits over the years. See, a tricky thing is like there's no slots. Like you're kind of guessing. Should I have this knight leaning forward? Should I have him leaning back? I think I'm gonna leave him like that, because hopefully one of these other bags has his arm holding the reins. If not, that's another low mark against this sculptor. Lore-wise, it's right after the Three Emperors timeline. Yeah, I remember running a campaign for Warhammer Fantasy roleplay during the Three Emperors. And coincidentally, it took place in the Border Princes, where this old world is supposedly taking place. I think it's interesting, the fluff of the Three Emperors, the fiction and the lore behind it, and oh shoot, I just realized this guy's. Okay, they're both nubs. So this wrist ends in a nub and the hand ends in a nub. So I'm going to shave down both of them. Hey, this guy. Hi, Darth Torlin. I don't have a clip. Where's my clipper? Every time my son comes to help daddy, quote unquote, I end up with everything misplaced. And I usually have like 3 or 4 hobby clippers around, but as soon as he shows up, they all disappear. You know what he calls them? Daddy's tools. And then he picks them up and he walks away with it. I was like, oh yeah, that's daddy's tool. That's daddy's clipper. Here it is. When will it end? Never. It'll end when I'm able to make a sustainable living off of my nerdy hobbies. So yeah, these are Lost Kingdom miniatures, independently sculpted and sold, purchased off of Etsy. Let's do the flowing cape. This might be tricky. How does this go? Way is better than one to return. Having done the greatest job for the dwarf race is now the High King. No war needed. I miss painting dwarf minis. You think your son will be a war gamer? You know, I don't know. It's so funny because he's not even 2 years old, but he says things. He shows interest every time I bring him out to the garage where I'm working. He starts saying like "Daddy painting," and then he runs over to my paint table. It's crazy. Like I never would have thought he's like a little baby, right? But he'll climb up on my hobby chair and he'll start just like grabbing things on the table, and he'll grab it and then he'll pass it to me. I'll say, oh, thank you. Yeah, daddy needs this. And then he'll grab like something else. So I always have to make sure anything sharp or the glue is always, out of reach. And then when I do that, it ends up getting lost. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Oh, maybe he's going to have a double cape. No, that's too silly. All right, that's staying there. Yeah, so I mean, having a kid is crazy, and he's getting so talkative now. All right, back to my concept of no 0 days, like even anything. So anything to do with your hobby, right? Even if it just means saving some pictures to your phone, or like starting to paint something for whatever you're working on. If we can have no 0 days, I think that will like inch us towards whatever project you're working on, inch you towards completion. Pros and cons, at least it's not a cat climbing the table. Yep, that's true. I used to have a cat. I used to live with, back when I first started YouTube, when I was still living at home, we had this cat, black and white cat, Maki, and he loved nothing more than jumping up on my table and batting everything off. That's why, yeah, small kids and animals, you gotta make sure you put your hobby stuff away at the end of the night. Yeah, Maki. And then I don't know why. I think my sister. I think the story was my sister found another cat that was black and white, huge eyes. Maki was like a little beady-eyed cat, but Sushi had big eyes. She looked just like Maki, but she was smaller. Oh, Pixie, remember Maki? Yeah, Maki and Sushi. Sushi was the girl. We'd always call Maki, Sushi. God, man, those were the days. Simpler times. Simpler times. I used to, I remember back when I first started around then, I was teaching high school creativity and drama. at a local private school, and I used to just love making videos, and uh, that's when I started the painting challenges, and oh my goodness. And that was like a great time because as a teacher, I had like some free periods where I was basically on babysitter duty. I just had to watch the kids and make sure they didn't light the library on fire. So if I was done, if I was finished with like grading or whatever else like mundane duties I had, and just to keep from falling asleep, I would go on forums. I would go on Warseer forum. I would play some YouTube videos on silent. I would always be like blue table painting. I'd play like girl painting videos. Ah, come on. Had a huge crush on Joey Berry at the time. It was it's a whole nother era. Man, that was like my old world. Thinking about that is like I'm living Age of Sigmar now. That's like old world. How can I get this to stick? Back in the day, hey, go for it. Good to see you. Back in the day, I used to use plastic putty, Vallejo's plastic putty, and just create like a little join. And that seemed to work. It gets it on really fast. But I think for a small join like this, or a small contact point, I'm gonna just see if I can get some kind of bond, and then we'll hit it with the Bob Smith. I think I also want, you know what, maybe I'll shave it down a little bit more because I think I want the lens to be angled just a little bit. I've seen enough medieval period piece movies to know that knights don't ride with their lances flying with the point behind them. Ooh boy. See, if it's not made for the model, I'm about to give up on this one and try a different lens. It's been 11 years following you, but the cat's name escaped me till you said it. Man, I got all the the long beards with me tonight. Jeez, I remember you never like really, I don't think anyone can really appreciate like where they are until they've lived like, you know, speaking as someone who's now 11 years on from those old school days, like I don't even know if I told myself, if I told myself back then, if I could talk to myself back then and be like, hey, in 11 years you're going to be in California, you're going to have a kid, and you're going to be still working on this stuff, I would have been like, what? You mean we didn't make it in Hollywood? Oh no. Then it's like the path you don't choose. Sometimes it chooses you, and then like you realize that you're happy. So happy. And then you see your YouTube numbers and you're like, how did I go from getting 1,000 views a video to like 30? This algorithm. I'm gonna blame it on the algorithm. My content is great. I've gone from, oh, maybe I can make a living off of YouTube, to just, I'm just gonna make videos that I like. I think something that's so important to me is authenticity. And you watch a lot of YouTube now, and everything is so produced. Even people who are just doing it on their own, like sometimes a lot of their stuff seems so produced and like edited and re-edited and cut and clipped, and there's no not, I'm not gonna say there's no, but there's a shortage of, like, they're like dinosaurs, the people who used to just turn on a camera and talk and not have to think about uh, thumbnails and music and editing and sponsor reads and everything. Yeah, And like that's why it happens, right? That's why it's successful. A huge crowd crave that quick hit of a video. They want to get to the information. Yeah, it is a lot of work. That's why I was always like, what? Why not just do what I do and just turn on a camera and hobby, paint, make mistakes, and include everything. Have all of the awkward pauses and everything while you're working because you're thinking. I'm thinking of colors. I'm thinking of techniques while I'm working on my tutorials. Everything is, except for watching the paint dry, everything is real and raw. And I have like my plan of what I'm planning on doing. Like I don't go in completely blind, but everything you see is the artistic process of like, okay, a paint scheme didn't work, or I just spilled my Nuln oil, or something, I applied it too thickly, or I started dozing off because I'm exhausted and I have to worry now about the this mistake that I made and how to fix it. Yeah, I think I gotta get another. I might have to work on this with another lance. That's okay. Case in point. Oh, see, this one's like angled a little bit better. The wrist is angled a little bit lower, so I'm still gonna need to clip this nubbin off, but hopefully this one will work a little bit better. I want my lens to be pointing straight up and down. Yeah, society wants quick. How to get a million views on TikTok, how to maximize your views with YouTube Shorts. Like there's all these strategies on how to get content out quick. And I tried some of them, and some of them are fun, but I don't feel like any of them is worth sustaining for my channel, my type of content. Jeezy Pete's. Well, it's often that a majority want to follow thing more, bigger, better than themselves. That's why perfect videos. Yeah, that's true. They want to see if if you're, and also I think it's time is such a factor too. People have limited time, so the fact that you guys are all hanging out with me, it means a lot to me because I know your time is precious. I don't want to waste your time. I want these streams, these live streams, to just be a chance to slow down and chill out. And hopefully, if you're working on something, that's cool. But if not, you just want to hang out, chat, see what I'm working on coming together, then that's totally fine. That's what it's all about for me. They say, like, I'm watching all these YouTube mastery courses, and they say, you got to choose, are you an entertainment channel? Are you an education channel? You really have to be one or two of those so that your audience can find you. And I don't think I'm an entertainment channel. Nobody comes to me to get entertained. Like most people come to me to learn how to paint stuff, and then they stay because they are entertained. Oh, geez. This one's a little bit bent. I don't know if I want to keep working on this one. Multitasking, multiple monitors to do stuff at the same time as listening to you. Blah, blah, blah. Well, let's blah, blah, blah about something else then. The weather here is turning a little bit cooler. I mentioned that in another stream. So I used to sleep with the window open and my, yeah, I used to sleep with like the window open and I have a screen, but the other night I woke up and I was freezing. And it made me happy because since moving here, it's been so like unbearably hot in California this year. And I feel like every year it's been unbearably hotter and hotter than the year before. I remember living in Hawaii, the humidity is a problem there. But it doesn't ever get too hot. Yeah, definitely not into the, I don't think I've ever had a day in the 90s back in Hawaii where it got up past 89 degrees. It might have, and I just forgot about it, but since I've been here, like some parts of the summer, it's like weeks of 90-degree weather, and then like a couple days of like 108, 107. And it's like, oh my gosh, where am I? Well, it was Dowie Berserkers that got me hooked. It's autumn, but it suddenly got summer hot again. Autumn here. Yep. Dowie Berserkers. You know what's funny? Lynx Lord, I've got an entire like Tupperware container full of old metal dwarf troll slayers. And when I used to live in Hawaii, I did a lot of commission work for this one customer, Joe. And I think that he wanted me to paint his miniatures. Also, like I really like painting for him because there's no way I would have been able to afford buying all these armies on my own, like that Death Corps of Krieg. I painted a lot of that for him. The dwarves and the Eldar you might have seen on my channel right at the beginning. But he gave me a lot of his old stuff that he wasn't going to get to painting, and I was really happy to take it. And I think for one job I did for him, he gave me just like, it's like 40 or 50 dwarf troll slayers, and I was like, oh yes, amazing. And I think I primed them all in gray, but I never got to them because I never seriously, yeah, I never seriously started a dwarf army. I think the old world might be when I do it, because didn't they show off in the old world article? I think I saw like the anvil and all those old models, the flamethrower, the grudge thrower, the flame cannon, I mean, the grudge thrower. All that stuff is like really hitting the right nostalgia chords with a lot of people, which is good. Boop. Let's get that hand on. This is terrible. I wish this had like another glue point, contact point, but I don't see one. I just want to get this lance on, but every time I turn it, it's like, oh no, it's the wrong angle. Okay, there we go. Boom. Currently, it's 64 degrees right now. I love your Project Doors. Yeah, I mean, I want to do another Project Doors. I've got the Gray Water Fastness Start Collecting box. That is just a bunch of dwarves. Now that Cities of Sigmar has its own Gray Water Fastness, it's like a totally different color scheme in yellow. I've got my Rune Throng. I would love to paint some dwarves again because I didn't get to paint any of the new dwarfs. Yeah, they are fuming in that box. Lynx Lord, those slayers are fuming in that box, screaming grudge at you for choosing something about them. It's the truth. It is the truth. All right. This took so long, but let's take a look at these finished models because they are really nice. And I think I paid something like 30 bucks for them. So to have 3 like counts as Pegasus Knights, I think it's pretty good. The trick being, of course, you want to find a good sculptor on Etsy that uses good quality resin and includes all the parts. Hopefully I'll find that forearm in the terrain bag, and also uses yeah, good quality parts and doesn't skimp or, you know, like wuss out on fixing any of the pieces that come bent. I was really worried about this guy, the third one, because he's kind of leaning forward, and I was afraid about the lance being angled correctly. All right, so Mr. Sprinkle, as a patron of my studio for these last 3 years, has donated enough to my studio where I've promoted him from his avatar for the Heroes of Hobbyton, from being just a foot knight to being on a horse. And then now with September, when I took a look at the amount that all of my patrons have donated, he's earned enough or donated enough to get himself one of these fancy mounts. So Mr. Sprinkle, if you do end up watching this live stream, choose which one you want. There's the one that's just standing still, and there's 2 in the dive, one with lance up and one with lance down. So choose which one you would like to have represented for you. I'm also going to put pictures of these guys onto the not the Facebook, what am I talking about? The Discord, as well as my Twitter. And then, yeah, but even now, just looking at the sculpts, they're not even done yet. What is that creature again? A Periton. right? I'm not sure. I think, oh gosh, I was looking at so many of these Lost Kingdom miniatures, and then Highland miniatures had some Pegasus Knights. These aren't even the only build, the only option you could build these knights as. There's another option without the antlers that look a little bit more like horses. For some reason, I think the antlers appealed to me. They look more like stags with these bird legs. So uh, I think both of the options, what I'm trying to say, Link's Lord, is that both of the options have different like names for the unit. All right, let's go on to, now that we're done with that, let's build something from Age of Sigmar. Why don't we do something from Age of Sigmar? Let's do something from Age of Sigmar. I have a Rotbringer Sorcerer. I've got, I don't know if I want to build the whole kit, but oh, let's take a look at what the Cities of Sigmar box has. Rodbringer would just be for something I would build up for to resell on eBay. That's what I was trying to get at. I think this is the wizard guy, or the cauldron, right? And then I can yeah, and then I can fume about that. Okay, so what do you guys think? Nurgle or the sorcerer guy that comes with the Cities of Sigmar? While you're answering that question, I'm going to quickly take a look at the rest of these baggies that came with this order. Try to see where those scenery pieces are. Oh, Torlin, love the work you did on the Black Knight. Hey, thanks. The trick with that was, I mentioned that in the video, but you take a look at the Monty Python movie, that Black Knight, he is black. There is like no silver metallic on him. The chainmail, all of that is pretty close to black as you can get. So how do you make dark, like black metal without doing, the trick is usually paint something black and then edge highlight it with silver. So you have dark metal or dark black plates, but then silver metal. The not Rotbringer. Okay, that's kind of what I was hoping. I was like not really feeling Nurgle right now. All right, let's take a look at these decorative bases. Look at this. Oh man, so excited. Don't even know what goes where. I might have to pause the stream while I figure out which model goes where. You know what? It doesn't matter, right? I don't think it does. I love decorative bases so much. I don't even know if, yeah, why not? It's like, does it need it? Eh, maybe not, but this resin feels good. It feels chunky. It feels really nice. What am I doing? Spraying the model. Like that's not even where the glue is. Okay. These are the decorative bases for the models that I just built. Now, the fun part is trying to figure out where everything goes. I think this is a peg for like a plastic part. Yeah, doesn't that look great? I remember, I think this is the reason why I bought these models, because I saw them lined up like this or something like that. And yeah, like look at this. It's like a tower with like a tree growing out of it. Those are great for diorama with removable pieces. Yep. So I think they face, yeah, look at that. I mean, this is why. This is how you know it's supposed to be like this, because the bricks here slot in just like that. Or they're supposed to. They should. I'm not going to shave it down. I think it looks great the way it is. But, see, Age of Sigmar, if they do what I'm like 99% sure they're going to do this and bump up the size of the monsters. This is a 50mm base here. So if you put your 40mm here, this is what it's going to look like. That actually makes sense to me. But I don't know if I want to glue these 3 pieces on. Oh, Pix, I gotta ask you later what, you can message me, what do you want me to paint your friend? I think he said Sam, describe like the color scheme you want me to do for her, that model. You can message me on Discord. You don't have to leave a comment. I think actually it's better if you message me on Discord, because I don't have anything to write it down with. Actually, no, I do. I could write it on the board, but yeah, just send me a message. Does that look terrible? Not really. And then I could put like I could put grass and flocking on the bases. And then you can rank them up easier. It's just so cool though. Like, look at this. This is so cool. But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put them on the bases. And I'm gonna cross my fingers that Games Workshop does what I think they're gonna do and bump up the size of the bases. If not, you know what? I'll just tear these off. It's a good thing the resin is like so chunky and heavy. So I think with a little bit of force, like a hammer or something, I'll be able to get them taken care of. Well, the birds are starting to chirp outside. I woke up early just to get this stream in and finish these models. Yeah, see, they're supposed to be like a plastic flying peg that goes up through there. Because otherwise, like, how are you supposed to balance? Some gravel would do wonders, and have GW not already spilled the base sizes? They've only spilled the base sizes for infantry, saying that they want to make the units look more impressive by being on 25mm bases, and that would make the units look like the breadth of and the scope of the units would look larger, which I'm fine with. But I mean, I want to know how much everything is going to be, you know? I want to know how much it affects all these sizes of the bases. All right, how are you standing? Where do these big chicken feet go? Hey, Dwarven Darkness, aloha! Or, as we say, aloha! I grew up watching this show called Hawaii Stars. It's just like a local talent show, like a karaoke show. And one of the hosts was this guy, Kimo Kahoano. That's how he would always open it. Aloha! Welcome to Hawaii Stars. If you haven't already, you should try out Mantic Games Kings of War. I remember when that first came out, long time ago, we were always, everyone was excited about Mantic Kings of War because of the reduced pricing. It looks so like cheap compared to, you can get a battalion, like a whole, you know, big box of stuff for like, not a fraction, but for like a great deal less than Games Workshop. Used to live in Pearl City. Ah, yes. Pearl City. Man, I don't know how much of my youth was spent at Pro Ridge Shopping Center, riding the monorail back and forth, uh, looking at girls. I think, I think. See, I should really just look at the stupid. I've got a picture with the art of what they're supposed to look like, but I'm so stubborn. I want to just figure it out on my own, and that's how I get messed up. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can switch over my screens really quickly without interrupting the cast to get to my pictures. Have gotten much better since 2016-17. Plus, if you miss old Warhammer, I think you might like the game. Yeah, I do miss old Warhammer. I remember thinking the miniatures looked just a little too um, like cartoony, and I didn't really care for the miniatures that much. But I would love to check them out now. Remember Don Ho, Tiny Bubbles, when we went to Hawaii this past. I don't know if are you still? Oh, you used to live in Pearl City. We went to the International Marketplace in Waikiki since they rebuilt it. We haven't been there since they rebuilt it, and they check them out in Cali. Yeah, I haven't seen them in my local hobby store, so I'm gonna have to look online. They have a statue of Don Ho in the International Marketplace, like a bronze statue, and I think it's wild. Okay, in the picture, this thing is perched on this piece here, Maryland now, and I don't know how, like, where is he supposed to grab? Because in the picture, he's like, he looks like this, but then why is he looking down? Ooh, this is tricky. I wonder if there was some like photoshopping done, because I don't see how this guy is supposed to, like, this kind of makes more sense to me, like he's climbing the steps. This is great. This is great entertainment. This is great live YouTubing right here. Just finagling with the, yeah, it looks like he's, when you take a look at this guy's feet, he looks like he should be climbing or like gripping, right, with these front claws. He looks like he should be gripping something behind him and leaning forward. So that, to me, it looks like this, but this is not the way the instructions say to build it. That's right, I've always forged my own path. The trick is making sure he's in line with these other two. If you intend on using these miniatures, you gotta make sure they rank up. Just like old school. Well, what do you guys think were the hardest miniatures to rank up in old school Warhammer Fantasy? That works for me. I think it would have to be maybe the Empire Spearmen / Halberdiers. Those were a pain. So now I gotta look for, the plastic peg. That should have been included. What the heck? Etsy seller. Yeah, it looks like it should be like that. War dancers. Weren't war dancers skirmishing units though? Did you have to rank them up? Those old wood elves. Oh man. Glade Guard, Glade Riders. I love those models so much. I was so sad they did away with them. Maybe put his back legs down. Then he's crooked. I don't want my model to look crooked. The easiest units to rank up, I think, were like the Night Goblins and the Dwarfs from the Battle of Skull Pass. Those were similar in posing to the actual boxes that they had. So they were actually really, really easy, especially when you think about how they were on the smaller base sizes, the 20 millimeters. I think I'm gonna have to do it like this. It's pretty upsetting that if I don't have a plastic peg, I'm not gonna be able to build these other two models. Quarrelers were hell. Oh, Quarrelers, yeah, as a dog player, and yes, War Dancers were skirmishers. Yeah, the Quarrelers, yeah. I like the miners. The miners were such fun kits, such fun models. Okay, a little tricky, Slightly smaller than normal. Okay. We're gonna keep on keeping on. I think they showed this model something like this. So he's like leaping off of this rubble. Yeah, that's so cool. Look at this, guys. Like, you can see exactly where it's supposed to be glued in. Just pop that in there. All right, fantastic. Last one. Okay, I don't think I've got any spare plastic pegs. I do have a box of bases here from the move. Is this a plastic peg I see? Whoa, guys. Look at that. One plastic peg in this box of like random assorted bases from my years as a hobbyist. That is amazing. Wow. Providence. Of course, I'm not going to be a dummy and put that on because I still have to. It doesn't even fit. Of course. Wah, wah, wah. I still have to paint it. I don't know. Do you guys paint your plastic pegs? Yeah, it doesn't even fit. I don't know why I celebrate so early. Life likes to do this to me. Just throw me for a loop. dangle something in front of me and then just yank it away. Yeah, it's not even tall enough. I don't know. I attended Lehua Elementary School and Manana Elementary School. The fighting Menahunis. Lehua is a Pro City, right? Or IAEA? Okay, so I just took a look in the bag for the other miniatures that I had bought, because I'd bought in this kit before, and I was taking a look at the other scenery kit. It's not a plastic peg, it's a resin peg. I wonder too, if I don't find that arm, I wonder if I can cannibalize one of the rider's arms. But see, then my other set won't have enough. Well, it was lucky that I found that one plastic peg, but I guess this works just as well. A little bit of resin flashing, so I'm going to take the back of my blade. Ooh, resin a little bit tricky. And just shave it down. I think what I'm going to do is just paint it black, because what else are you going to do? Kings of War, you can create dioramas, no removing miniatures, you just use a wound counter. I think you would enjoy that aspect of the game too. Yeah, I think when I was doing my Orcs and Goblins, I made like a bunch of narrative unit fillers. I remember when, didn't they had like an animosity unit filler? Have you asked the guy selling it? So did you marry Miss Ladybug? I did, yes, and we have a son. I married Miss Lady Boss, and we have a son. I think whoever sculpted this sculpted it a little bit too large. So again, foiled at every turn. Hopefully one of these other two will fit. Yeah, I do love the aspect of the game that you can create. I think any fantasy game or any game where you have massed ranks, I think it should be encouraged that you are creative with your unit fillers. Congratulations, thank you. Yeah, we were married in 2018, and then we had our son in 2021. Took a huge hiatus, and then now that I'm back, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, because we want to try to go for another little one, and that's gonna be a little tricky just with the way things are. I think I'm going to. Do you have little ones, Dwarven Darkness? I think I'm gonna snap this peg off. I don't know about. See, you can see there's like a little T hollow in there. Yes, 2. I think once we get to 2, that might be when we stop. But we are trying for the second one. That's a hell of a pole. Not so little. 12 and 14 now. Woo! Gotta think. Think. Our son loves Winnie the Pooh. And every time Winnie the Pooh comes out to do some thinking, my son, he like imitates him. He says, think. Another thing he does is he says, whenever Winnie the Pooh says, "Oh bother," my son goes, "Oh bother." He's so cute. Oh bother. He doesn't even know what it means. He's just like repeating what he hears, you know? But man, everyone tells you like you're never gonna really know what to expect, or like you can't really prepare for having your first kid. Like I think now that we're trying for a second, we kind of know what from having the first one, but you never really know. So now my wife and I have started, my lady boss and I have started doing that. Oh bada. We say oh bada. All right, guys, this is it. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be the end of this epic build. 3 mounted knights from Lost Kingdom Miniatures. It's actually gonna be at an angle. I don't know if I can go straight on. You should teach him what, like beef. My lady boss, she despises pigeon, which is hilarious because you live in Hawaii. You grow up hearing it, and I'm just so used to it. Darth Torlin, all right, Darth Torlin, thanks for hanging out. Hey, Dicey guy, what's up, my man? We're just doing some assembly here, no painting tonight. I'm thinking that what I'd like to do is continue these live streams on a consistent basis throughout the week, and just get some work done, hang out, just be very chill and relax, and have a place that you can go that's not trying to bombard you with sensory like stimuli like the rest of YouTube. So if you want to hang out for a little bit, you can come in. I'm not sleeping or going about you finishing up. Oh, yeah, I know, about time. Amen. For the Heroes of Hobbyton game, I have built up, I think, just about everyone, right? I've done City Guard, Foot Soldiers. Oh, have I done Foot Soldiers? I gotta get new Foot Soldier models. There we go. Oh, yes. All together now. Squad. It's really cool. I wonder if I can zoom out a little bit to get the scope of them. Nope. All right, that's cool, YouTube. That's fine. This is great. Okay, so when Mr. Sprinkle wakes up, jumps on, finds it in the Discord, he's gonna see that this is what he can choose from. And I was thinking, should I let everyone know what the price point is for getting your avatar upgraded? But I don't think that's as fun. I think it's more fun to just be a patron of Warboss Tay Studios and don't give money because you're going to get some kind of modeling reward from it. If you become a patron of my studio and you decide to play the Heroes of Hobbyton game, Shaka, yeah, then I hope you do it just to have fun and enjoy it and see some interesting models that you may not have seen before. Shaka, Dwarven Darkness. Is your name on Facebook, Warboss Tay? No, I'm actually not on Facebook. I had a personal Facebook, and I stopped using Facebook when it just got too crazy for me to follow. So I'm on Twitter at Warboss Tay. You can find me there. I've got the Discord, of course, my YouTube channel. I think those are the easiest ways to find me. I did have a Warboss Tay not fan page, but like it's not a business page, but that not personal page. And even that got too hard to keep up with, like having so much social media and trying to be active and present on all of it has been little crazy. All right, I'm gonna keep them in the background just because they look so awesome. Oh man, I'm really pleased with that. I'm really pleased with that. So okay, like the stream says, like the title of the stream says, and now that there are a whopping 6 people hanging out, we're gonna move on to this guy, the walking cook. No, give all the money to the treasure. Yeah. All right, so you've probably all seen a bunch of Cities of Sigmar assembly videos and unboxing videos. So I'm gonna do a very brief look, just because I haven't seen it. I don't know what any of this is. This is an Alchemite War Forger. So if you all have any tips, if you've built these guys up for yourself, then let me know. If not, we're just gonna hammer through it, and we're gonna keep this stream going. We're at 73 minutes already, and the birds are chirping outside. So I'm gonna get going. I don't think there's any alternate builds for this guy, right? Yeah, he's holding his pot and he's holding his stick. He's got a hammer strapped to his waist. The city, not seen it on video. I save it to see your stuff. Oh, cool, yeah. We'll see how much we get through it, because I'm not gonna do, I wasn't planning on doing separate unboxing videos. Okay, have not looked into Sigmar stuff really. So this is gonna be for all of us then. Let's see here. I've got my Cities of Sigmar box. So let's go through it fast. I'm sure we can go through it fast and get all our stuff situated here. Where is, okay. Got my plastic glue. The Alchemite Warforger. B1, B2, B3, B4. Boom. Boom. All right, start the timer. 1, 2. I think I mentioned this, but one of my favorite things about Cities of Sigmar is that you can see on all of the models that they're showing off. 1, 2. You can see on all the models that they're like handwriting script in English again. They're not using those crazy Stormcast Eternal sigil rune things, and I think that is really good. Like I didn't like those runes. I think I'm a heckler for the old school, like the Warhammer fantasy. The Empire all had like you could write Talabheim on the banner, you know, you could you knew what you were writing. It wasn't just a bunch of gobbledygook nonsense. I want that city dog unit. Oh, yes. That dog unit looks great. I want the dog unit. I want a big cannon. I want it all, Daddy. Veruca, you've got Cities of Sigmar at home. No, I don't. I've got Warhammer Fantasy. It's not the same. Daddy, I want the Cities of Sigmar now. I'll get you one when we get home, Veruca. I was looking at that the trailer for the new Willy Wonka movie, and I didn't know this until I saw the video of it, but Gene Wilder said he accepted the role of Willy Wonka contingent on them letting him do that bit, that iconic bit where he walks out and he loses his cane and then he does a little tumble and he stands up and he goes, ta-da. Like he said he would only be in the movie if they would let him do that. And when people ask him, well, why was that so important to you? He said it was because he wanted from the very beginning, he didn't want anybody to know if he was telling the truth or not. And I think that's such a great way to introduce that character. It's cool, and it still has a fantasy fan first and foremost. He is a man of culture indeed. I think Gene Wilder might be one of my favorite comedic actors. Him and Robin Williams were really good. I saw the Johnny Depp Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and didn't do it for me. Okay, let's see. So this one has like a little tab on the arm. Don't cut that out. Looks like that goes right on here. The tab lines up to the body, and then the shoulder lines up right along to the shoulder of the rest of the model. Now we're gonna put the back. Have that on. It's funny, anybody who comes watching this video for is like, I've got an Alchemite Warforger. I'm thinking about getting that. I wonder how Warboss Tay builds it. And ends up getting a dissection of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You lose. Goodbye. All right, next. 7, 8, 12. We're gonna do the head. Looks like something on his chest, and then his staff arm. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I really don't care for the Stormcast Eternals. Nothing I've ever seen of them has made me interested in them as a faction. The thing that always interested me about the Empire in Warhammer Fantasy was that they were flawed, they were vulnerable, they were arrogant, they were weak, they were haughty, and they always were grasping for something better and to be better and to be stronger, because the Empire was just ordinary humans, and they were trying to survive against demons and orcs and all the things that were like so terrible. In fact, what were the only things that humans were really able to go toe to toe with were like goblins. And I loved about the Empire that, like, in trying to trying to just survive and carve out their own little pocket of the old world. A lot of them made bargains with the wrong creatures, or a lot of them sold out, or they went looking for forbidden knowledge, or they just were not able to survive on their own. So it was rare to find heroes in that setting that were able to um, be strong, to gain strength, and to do it on their own merit. And like the old world is so great because it's grim and it's there's like fleeting moments of hope mixed into all of the bad. How does this work? Okay, I see where these tabs are. So they go on like that. There, boom. Yeah, we are getting through it. It's the one thing about these monopose models that don't have any options. Like you don't have to worry about, like, your roadmap is straightforward, point A to point B. Some of the bear heads are cool, though I have gotten some just to get their heads for my Marines. I've always hated that, like, apparently they have like all these character and history and personality, but on the tabletop there, they just look like helmeted Marines. And for the longest time, you never got to see one. Remember the first time they had an unhelmeted Stormcast Eternal, and it was like such a big thing, like, oh wow, they've got faces, and oh, you can see their face. Now it's like any excuse in the world will get them to take off their helmet. I think it's time to put him on a base. Got to get his pot together. 9, 10, 11. He's doing pretty well. The Alchemite Warforger. I hate smoke. I hate painting smoke ever since that Ogre Firebelly. Oh man, now they put it on so much. So many things have like this plastic smoke on it. I despise the whole Sigmar change in story. It ain't for me. Old school all the way. Yeah, old school Sigmar all the way. It's so weird too. Like, oh, Age of Sigmar, dark elves are friends with humans? What? The dark elves live in the human cities and all this craziness. Oh, and orcs and goblins for a time were cool with humans. Like, what? In my head, dark elves is always baddies. Dark elves and orcs and goblins. It's like, why would dark elves be living in the free cities with elves? With high elves? And no wood elves? No Bretonians? That's it, I'm done. No Bretonians. Get out my face. Okay, so it looks like he's supposed to be holding on to it here. This is actually the other handle of the pot. Okay. So when you're assembling this, you make sure that the handle of the pot lines up there. And there's a little notch in his apron. So line up the notch and then make sure that the handle is lined up to the pot on the side, and then there's a hook here that lines up to the lip of the pot. So you've got 3 contact points, so that's good, I guess. Yeah. What was I saying? Winnie the Pooh and now Bambi. Surprisingly, my son loves Bambi. Okay, this is a trick, or not a trick, but like a hobby hack that I don't see addressed enough. The bottoms of people's feet are always covered with a little bit of flash, or affected by a little bit of flash. So make sure, oops, when you're assembling your model and about ready to throw them on a base, make sure that you shave off all of that flash, because a flat surface for the foot will adhere so much better to the base than if you've got just even a little bit of flashing on the bottom of the foot. It says I'm not supposed to put him on the base until I've got the hammer on his waist, but ain't nobody got time for that. Hammer, it's the last piece, and then this sprue is used. It's all done. Absolutely no wasted space. Every part of this sprue is used. How selfish of Games Workshop to not leave any extra bits. That's gonna be bad when you have to tell him we eat them. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have the right size base? I guess, wait, 32. Are there different size bases? There are. I might be on the wrong side. Get off of that. Get up off of that thing. Get on the 32 mil. Boop. Look at that. I was thinking, oh, you know, maybe I'll build the entire Cities of Sigmar box tonight, but oh well. Even just this one model, I think, is pretty cool. So this is going to be easy because there's a little peg in the back of the hammer. It lines up with the notch on the leg. Oops. Should have pressed him down on the base. That's okay. Yeah, going back to Willy Wonka. I don't know if this new movie is going to have that same mystery and mysticism to it. Like, I like this Timothée Chalamet kid. I think he's going to be fine. But I think the character itself, the fact that they have this movie is, I don't think it's good for the character, because Willy Wonka should be an unknowable, mysterious, magical just figure. That's right, you're half a world away. That's not bad. Is there anything else we can build at this point? I've been looking at different options for building the characters. I really like the squire with the head and the box. So weird. As for heads, I think they're all kind of interesting. We got 3 right there. I don't know. I've seen people say that the pistols, the dueling pistols, are good because you want your leader giving orders. You don't want him to be getting into the fight. It makes the most sense to me. I think it looks the most interesting too. So when I get to building this model, I think I'm gonna build him, because look at all these options. Look at all the different ways you could build them. Sword and shield, hammer, shield, hammer and helmet. Dueling pistols, I think this is the one I'm going for. Pew pew, pew pew. So anyway, I started blasting. Yeah, sword, shield, hammer. This is it. It looks like an easy build too. 4 pieces for the main body. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Well, you're an adult and isn't Willy Wonka for young people. Not that you can't enjoy, just have to give it some leeway that it was not made with adults in mind. Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know. Willy Wonka, the original movie, I feel like there's a lot of it is like allegory and intelligent, like it can be enjoyed by both kids. But I think it can be enjoyed by adults just as much on a different level. I saw this crazy theory that that movie with the train, Snowpiercer, is like a un, unannounced, like like an intended, is a better word, intended sequel to Willy Wonka, and that the Ed Harris character is like grown up Charlie. It's crazy. There's a whole theory on it. I went down this rabbit hole some time ago. It's the Snowpiercer Willy Wonka sequel theory. I think look it up on YouTube uh, when you're done watching me. It's a interesting theory. Okay, this guy is also on a 32mm, so yeah, let's throw it up. It is a far jump, and when you first hear it, you're like, "What? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." But when you listen to, I forget who was the person that broke it down. Like he really gets into the characters, like the Tilda Swinton character, and how he's hypothesizing that she's like a grown up Veruca, and I don't know. It's just weird. I can't explain it, do it justice. But if nothing else, it is an interesting thing to listen to, even if you don't believe it. And I don't even know if I believe it for a second. But they say like, well, the Snowpiercer is a train that is supposed to save certain people, humanity, because it's this technological marvel, just like a flying elevator was a technological marvel, or this and that are technological marvels that Willy Wonka made. And what, what if they hypothesize? What if Willy Wonka taught Charlie all of these skills because he had an idea that some impending disaster was about to befall the world, and that they would have to build something like a train that never stopped, that was very Willy Wonka-y, in order to save who they could. It's very interesting. And entertaining, because it's just so crazy, it's so wild. All right, back to Warhammer. Go off on a tangent there. Boy, I had the biggest crush on Joey Berry, and we were supposed to do this collaboration, painting up a war dancer together, and we're supposed to do a video together, and I even talked to her, and it just kind of fell through. Things kind of didn't work out for both of us. I think it's hard too, because she's a world away, and I'm, at the time, I was not, like, nobody really was used to Zoom calls and that kind of thing. Like arranging, scheduling kind of stuff, you know. So, all right, heads. Let's see what kind of heads. Yeah, the end of the human story fits so well with the chocolate factory. But I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I believe it. I think it. The person who made the video is just like putting these crazy hypotheses out there. I don't know. Which head matches the most? Let's go with crazy hair and beard guy. I did the Snowpiercer series through the class struggle and so on. The Snowpiercer series was on TNT, yeah? What's her name? Jennifer Connelly. I thought the movie was interesting. Okay. Pistols. Pew pew. If I can get all three of these characters built, that'll be pretty cool. I'll be pretty stoked. Okay, I was like, if I put these arms in, where is his cloak? The cloak is like a final piece you add. So all right, can worry about that when we get to it. So anyway, I started blasting. Oop. Oh, she is around. Joey Berry. She worked on Total War, Warhammer 1 and 2, and work on some other games now. So, okay, I think this is a Free Guild Marshal and Relic Envoy. So they're officers, and I think they give commands to your steel helms or to whoever, and then that's what their purpose is. I don't really know. I don't I'm not into the game so much as the models, but I want to get into it more, right? So I can know how to paint them. So 15 cheats. Okay, 5 and 9. I would love to, though, man. If I could get myself together, and I think it would have to be like I'd have to wait until my son's a little bit older and I can get out of the house. But it would be fun to see what the local community is like and play some games. Every time I go to the game store and I see people there, it's always like, oh man, I remember this energy. This feel-good energy of just going and hanging out and talking about the latest releases and bringing your models and having everybody say, whoa, how did you do that? I love that feeling. That's cool. Weird looking guys though. Yup. They ain't no Empire General. I think they're really leaning into them being very different, odd looking compared to the old Empire miniatures. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think they look more high fantasy, like very high fantasy. Almost to the point of steampunky. Not steampunk. There's another word I'm looking for. It's like right below technologically. Right below steampunk is like that high fantasy weird. Like I don't know how to explain it. But the aesthetic is good for this game. It allows us to mentally separate these humans from the Empire. I think that's why they're releasing the teases that they've released for the old world, like for Bretonia. The models look so different from the damsel on the unicorn. These look like they belong like in a totally different setting. So that's good. You don't say even though they tried talking into the Empire image. Yeah, so they're carrying over themes, I think, because they're recognizable. Like your human armies need leaders, and they need like guns, and they need like certain things to make them fit the wargaming aesthetics that we're used to, because that's easier. That makes it easier for them to hook people who are maybe not interested in the Age of Sigmar setting, but if they say, okay, well, now we've got this human army, and the human army has guns, just like the Empire did, and the human army has like cool looking infantry and interesting looking uniforms and heraldry and stuff. I think it's their way of trying to draw in players. Like, here's an army that kind of sort of looks like Empire, old Empire miniatures, but it's not. Right, so now we're gonna build the Relic Envoy. He looks super easy. 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Head is always the same. Always holding hand on the sword, and then this skull in a box. It's a skull in a box. Let's clip. Again, we want to make sure we shave down those boots in a second. The unicorn lady figure is so nice. Not sure it will fit in with the knights, but yeah. I think as long as they keep the knights looking very old, King Arthur fantasy, you know what I mean? She looks very much like she just stepped out of a King Arthur story. No crazy like modern fantasy aesthetics. I really like the way she looks. Lady Elise Duchard. Poor dead guy being carried around like that. Okay, what size base? 28. Okay, our first small base, 28 millimeter. I probably subconsciously built the Marshal far back because he's a ranged character. He doesn't want to get up close and personal. He's like, hey, you guys go ahead. Go ahead and fight. I'm gonna hang back and give you guys some orders. I'm always running out of things. Like, I'm noticing that I'm almost out of this plastic glue. I'm almost out of my Bob Smith Industries Insta set. Always gotta make sure that I'm always make sure you have your supplies that you need before starting a painting session. Thanks for hanging out, Dicey. For everybody for hanging out. Like, I appreciate, like, especially for people who are in crazy different time zones than I am. Like, it's easy to say, like, oh, okay, I know this is what time it is for us here in the colonies, but yeah, Dicey's all the way over there. Not the kind of leader I would follow, but guess times are different. Yeah. Oh, I got the wrong sword handout. It's the general sword. You gotta look for this guy with the head. I'm not hanging out. I have to watch these people in here. Oh, Darth. Are you here in your capacity as a moderator? Gosh, I hope not. I hope I'm not making you work. It's almost 5, so it ain't bad. 17. 1,700 hours. It's a great time. My favorite time to do anything is not actually 4 o'clock in the morning, but it's when my son is taking his nap in the middle of the day. That's my favorite time to work. Unfortunately, that is so inconsistent, and I'm trying to find a consistent time to work. Oh, okay. So it's not crazy late. I have to find a consistent time to stream and to work every day. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at these characters, and then we'll take a look at what's going on. be in the rest of the box. I'm probably going to try to build it up tomorrow. Definitely not going to be able to for the rest of the day. So I believe this is going to come as its own kit, the Free Guild Marshal and the Envoy, kind of like the Empire General and the Empire General on Steed. This is like your captain figure, gives orders, and then kind of provides some kind of buff, I believe, in the game mechanics. So these guys built up, this is their size, their profile on them, a little bit larger base, smaller base, and they look good. It's almost like a squire and a master. And then here you've got your Alchemite Warforger, who's like some kind of metal magic user. So they stand up pretty good together. Babies napping is the best feeling. Yeah, I mean, what do I have to look forward to next? Kids going to school. Once the kid is old enough, he's going to be going to preschool. All right, so we've got 5 cavalry next. Different options for the heads. Unhelmeted, helmeted. I think it's more interesting to build them helmeted. I wonder if it changes. Oh, here, yeah, unhelmeted heads. I wonder if it changes the stats depending on which head you use. Probably not. I would hope not. And here's all the little bits and bobs and doodads. This is one thing that I do like. The Warhammer Fantasy extra bits were always like, they kind of made sense. Off of the State Troopers, you've got little like skulls hanging or bottles, right? Or little hourglasses. These are just weird. These totems are strange. Hanging off the back of of your horse. Like, what is that? It's a crow with the blinders on. It's so strange. And look at how the horses are built. The horses are built all crazy, different than old Warhammer Fantasy, where you just have left side of the horse, right side of the horse, and then the head. This is feet. Get all the feet built, and then body. It comes in 2 pieces, and the body looks like it. Yeah, the bodies come with the legs already attached, and then you're attaching the torsos. Wow, this looks like it's going to be fancy, tricky. So yeah, that to look forward to. Yeah, the Bretonian peasant extras were pretty strange too. The stump, the frog. It's great stuff, though. I remember the Bretonian peasant one. I looked at that and thought, oh, these are really interesting to look at. Banner, standard bearer. All right, so they're going to be fun to build up. And then finally, you've got 10 steel helms, which are the infantry guys. So these look like they build up like standard infantry. Leg to torso, breastplate, helmet, or leg to torso and arms. That's what they're gonna look like. You get 20 of them. All right, that will have to be for another stream though. I am about ready to get out of here. Before I do, I want to take one more look at what we're able to do today. We got these character figures for the Cities of Sigmar army box built up. Dicey, my 7-year-old daughter paints minis, gonna buy her one of the Unicorn Lady minis so we can paint them together. That's so cool. That's so awesome. I hope my son does take the route of painting Warhammer miniatures. What forum in the Discord do you show pics of? In minis, obviously. I think in the Discord we post pictures on the work in progress project showcase, and I think that's usually where we're posting our stuff. If you were in the summer painting challenge, there's a showcase gallery for that. And let's take a look at these that we built up. These are the mounted riders for my Heroes of Hobbyton game on these winged stag mounts. Fantastic. Super cool to paint. Yeah, are you on the Links Lord? You're on the Discord, right? Super fun to build, rather, and I think I'm gonna enjoy painting them. I want to paint the stags with the wings, kind of like how the Island of Blood was, with the high elf griffin wings with the browns and then the yellows and the beiges, the bone colors. Yeah, project showcase and the work in progress. Excuse me. And we'll take a look one more time at the Heroes of Hobbiton list. This one is the most epic. He's in the dive. He's got the highest profile. And oh, he looks so cool. Yeah, no worries. No worries. If you're sharing work in progress, you share it under hobby stuff. Isn't there a work in progress channel though, Darth? Or is that just for something else? Hobby stuff. Your finished project, it'll be project showcase. I thought there was a WIP channel, or am I thinking of something else? I thought there was a work in progress WIP channel. It's them all ranked up. Yeah, like if they were on 40 millimeters, I don't know if they would be able to fit. Okay, and let's take a look one more time at the board here. Here are my patrons. So thank you for everybody who's been a patron on Warboss Day Studio. Yeah, aren't they great, Dicey? Aren't these amazing? So I'm gonna ask Mr. Sprinkle which one he wants to represent him as his new avatar, and then I'm gonna put away the avatar that I've got for him on the mount. Speaking of Mr. Sprinkle, he's got 39 tokens, 6 City Guard, and an Old Grumbler. Pix has 7 tokens, 15 City Guard, 3 Footmen, 2 Archers, a Scribe. Play Painted's got 36 tokens. Land of Mert, my newest patron's got 2 tokens, 3 City Guard, and a Healer. If you just joined the Discord, please. Oh yeah, select your role. You gotta select your role so that you can post in the different channels. Dicey Guy's got 33 tokens, 3 City Guard. Michael Matzi's got 4 City Guard and 8 tokens. Mr. Secondary's got 7 tokens and 1 Family Relic. Darth Torlin has 1 token. And remember, there are tokens for August and September up for grabs. So if you've been my patron for those 2 months, like Darth Torlin, I think Mr. Secondary's used, and Michael Matzi used theirs. Dicey Guy, Mr. Sprinkle, and Play It Painted. Yeah, because you were my patrons for August and September. You've got two tokens you can either bank or do gamble with. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna call it here, guys. We are just almost at 2 hours. This is the longest live stream I've ever done, and I'm super happy with the progress I was able to get finished. My goals now are to finish unboxing and building the Etsy models that I've gotten, as well as the Etsy or the Cities of Sigmar models that I just showcased. Those are going to be fun to put together. But if you're watching this after the fact, if you haven't been hanging out with us and you are watching this later in the future, thank you for hanging out and for making it all the way to the end. If you are live, for everybody who's made it to the show live today to hang out, I appreciate it. And for all the comments, I think this is a good way for me to get things going and to work on stuff. It's just going to be a lot of fun in the future. There are so many great projects coming out. My Heroes of Hobbiton miniatures, once I've got everything built and I can really devote the time to painting them, I've got some amazing models, like more sculpts like these coming out. And then just everybody playing, getting ready. So if you've missed it, I'm gonna start the actual expeditions and everything. That's gonna start up in January. I want everybody to have the time now between September and December to take part, to jump on if you want to become a patron. And once January starts, we'll have the actual expeditions. I'm developing new rules, thanks to Michael Matzi for suggesting this, of using painting challenges as ways to not only recoup lost tokens of renown if you gamble, but if you gamble them away at the beginning of the month and you lose your token, to gain them back, but also to gain extra tokens and to go on little side quests. So I'm still trying to work out the rules for everything and make sure everything is really watertight. That's why you haven't heard too much from me on that front. But for the rest of the year, let's just keep gaining tokens. Don't worry about any expeditions. Just gain tokens, spend them on city guard, and build up your retinues, and just enjoy it. Have fun. Yeah, remember to like, remember to subscribe. Head over to the Discord if you're not there already. We've got such a great community there. Darth Torlin is like a great moderator, and I want to say thank you to him as well as all of my patrons. And thank you to you guys for watching the show. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you are doing well out there. Take care of yourselves. Drink lots of water. Get up and stretch. And we'll see you in the next video. Latest, players! Goodbye.